nearlydanish.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right. So, going back in time, INDFØDSRETSPRØVEN, May 2023. All right, so this is a frequently asked question. The question is asking about the responsibilities of the commune. There are usually questions about the responsibilities of the commune, the state, and the regions, okay? What I mean by frequently asked questions, for the people that are here for the first time, an FAQ is a question that has appeared in at least 2 tests, okay? And these are questions that are highly likely to show up. There are about 199, 200 of those questions. You must know the answers to those questions. Just to illustrate this point, I will show you what I mean. So if you go to your profile, you will see here, most frequently asked questions. You click on that and you see there's 4 parts. These questions you must know the answer to, must, okay? So you practice them until you know them like the back of your hand, because at least 20 questions from the test will be from this batch, okay? So keep that in mind. We're moving on to the next one. All right. Yes, you can, but they won't be recorded. So you can keep repeating and repeating, but only 5 repetitions will be recorded. All right, so this was a new question. And if you were here in the last Kahoot, remember I said there's a lot of new questions that come from chapter 5. So in the last Kahoot, there was a new question from chapter 5, and it was also about the movie that won an Oscar, okay? So you can already start seeing the pattern. Okay, just to reiterate, the history part of the test is 35 questions, okay? Now, those 35 questions are a mixture of frequently asked questions and new questions. The frequently asked questions are, like I mentioned before, they've shown up in at least 2 or more tests. And then there's the new questions that have never shown up before. Okay, now how do you prepare for those? For example, this. If you go to your profile and you click on, say, you start from chapter 1, and we start with this, okay? Underneath here, you see this, it says potential new question. Okay, so this is a question that has never shown up in any of the tests and could potentially show up in the test. So, of course, majority of the questions are marked as this. The point of this, doing these repetitions is for you to get all the information into your head. And if you actually do all these repetitions, the information will get into your head, okay? All right, we're moving on to the next one. This, like I said, this is from chapter 5, new question. Excuse me, how many people got this wrong? 38. So for the 38 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
You are going to be hearing me say that a lot. The point of these Kahoots is for you to come and figure out what you don't know. So do not feel bad if you're not doing well. And do not suddenly get frustrated and leave the Kahoot because you're not doing well. It doesn't matter. The point is for you to come and make the mistakes here so that you don't make the mistakes in the test, okay? And if you do this consistently, the probability of you passing is very high. All right, so, oh, by the way, people that use emojis as their names, please use like a name that has alphabets in it, because it's hard when I'm importing these profiles into the database and it's an emoji. Well, good luck finding your name. And also sometimes the import doesn't work. So please use a real name. Case in point, this emoji here. So the emoji is up 49 places. LA is the highest climber. I actually don't even know what this is. But anyways, well done.
Excellent.
Next one. All right, so this is a brand new question, okay? This is a question about Iceland's independence. So Iceland used to be a colony of Denmark, and up until 1944, they were a colony of Denmark, and they got their independence in 1944. And this was because this was during the Second World War, and there was this agreement that they signed with Denmark. And because Denmark was, well, this is during the war, and Denmark was preoccupied with other things. Also, Denmark's government, I think they had no government at the time. So there was no government to sign the agreement with. And as a result, Iceland got its independence. This is a brand new question. This is from, I can't remember what chapter this is. But anyway, take note. Almost half of you got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Plug that knowledge gap. All right, Trayan is in the house. Kirby 9, Kurtz, Trayan, Andre, and Biz. Up 37 places. KKR is the highest climber. Okay, I made a mistake. So that your emoji shows up and then your name shows up later. So sorry about that, whoever that person was I mentioned. But the point still stands. Please use real names, not just emojis. Next one. All right, round of applause. All right, can't remember who fell out, but someone fell out. 3 players just hit an answer streak of 3.
Great job.
For the first timers, once we're done with this Kahoot and the other one, if you wait for about half an hour to an hour, your profile will appear. How do you find your profile? You go to nearlydanish.com. You see this purple box that says Kahoot. You click on players. It will open up the leaderboard, okay? And all you have to do is Control F and look for your name, right? So let's look for Trayan. Okay, so Trayan is number 9. And when you see your name, you click on that and boom, you have all the work that you need to do, okay? And you start the work. And as you start the work, you start gathering points. Obviously, you start going up and down the ranks and so on and so forth. Also, I have implemented a newsfeed, which I will be releasing this coming week. Everyone will be able to see the activity actually going on the website. So as you can see, you know, this guy took Danskri Terraform and he got a perfect score, and this was his second rep, and he got this many points, etc, etc. So as you guys are using it, you'll actually be able to see, you know, what people are doing. And I might be including a bit more information into all this. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's get back to this next one. Okay, so the Council for the European Union is made up of ministers from the member countries. So for instance, there could be Council for Environment, and that would include all the environment ministers from all the member countries of the EU, and so on and so forth. This is a semi-frequently asked question. It's not up there, it's maybe asked once or twice. The one that is more frequently asked is the European Parliament. And we will run into that question. And when we run into the question, I will go into more depth about it. So Kirby9 made a mistake. Well,
Now you know what you don't know.
a lot of people fail that question. So plug that knowledge gap next time you see it. 5 players hits an answer streak of 3. All right, this is a frequently asked question. So Greenland's biggest city is Nuuk, and it's also called Gotthard, I think, if I'm not mistaken. How many people got this wrong? 23. 23 people got this wrong. Well, majority of you got this right. Round of applause. Someone is asking for the game pin. I've posted it in the chat. Moving on to the next one. Treyan is back at number 1, Leo number 2, Alex 3, Suj 4, and Audrey 5. I recognize your names from the newsfeed, Suj and Audrey. You guys have been putting in work. I think Alex as well, and Treyan. Leo, I haven't seen, but hopefully I see your name more and more. All right, next one. This was a new question. Well, most of you got this right. It's simply asking how old do you need to be before you can buy strong spirits, so strong drinks like gin and rum and stuff like that. And you have to be at least 18 years old. So Alex is taking that number 2 spot. Kurt is back in the game 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right. Okay, so it's good that this has happened actually, because you heard me say this in the last Kahoot on Wednesday. Make a list of all the political parties that are currently in parliament, the year that they were created, and their leader. Okay, because you're most definitely going to see questions about that. In this case, it's asking you which of the following. Now, the key word here is the following. So you actually have to look at the parties that they've given you. Which of the following parties is the oldest? Okay, and from there, if you have made that list and sorted them according to chronologically, according to when they were actually created, you would know that the Conservative People's Party is the oldest one in this list. Okay, the oldest party that was ever created in Denmark is Venstre. Second oldest is Social Democrats. The third is Conservative People's Party. And just as a disclaimer, please, what I say in these sessions, I'm not the holy grail of information. I do have a lot of experience, and a lot of what I say is 99.9% accurate. But please, do your own information search, do your own research, okay? I'm just a guide. Sometimes I do make mistakes because I'm also human. All right, next one. So Alex fell right out of the top 5. That's a weak spot for you. Please make that list so you don't mess this up again. Elena is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and she's on fire.
She's on fire.
Excellent.
Next one. Trayan. Please let these guys breathe, okay? All right, so this was a brand new question when this showed up. I think this has never been asked before. It's only shown up one time. This was brand new in May 2023. And this is from chapter 5. So this just reiterating what I said before. A lot of the new questions are from chapter 5. So pay very close attention to chapter 5. But majority of you actually did well in this. So round of applause. And yes, Kim Lawson was the front man for Gasoline. All right. So Trayan is number 1, Leo number 2, Biz 3, Suj 4, and Diamond 5. Trayan is actually from the previous session in November 2023. Trayan was the number 1 player in November 2023. Trayan actually scored 100% on the actual test. Trayan wrote a whole post with tips and tricks on how to practice and prepare yourself for this test. I will be sharing that in the group. So please read that when I post it. All right, next one. All right, so this is talking about the slave trade between the African colonies, the Danish African colonies, and Caribbean islands. This is a brand new question. It's just a date. And yeah, if you practice, you would know the answer to this. How many people got this wrong? 31 people got this wrong. You've now pinpointed a knowledge gap. Plug up that knowledge gap.
Now you know what you don't know.
Next one. All right. There's a lot of movement in this top 5.
Excellent.
It's actually quite nice to see competition, but Trayan is leading the pack. Gen Z is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. All right. So the regions cannot collect taxes. It's only the state and the commune. Okay. This question, I think, had been asked one previous time. But anyways, if you see this again, for the 22 people that got this wrong, please get it right the next time, okay? Also, when you're practicing on the website, you're definitely going to come across this, get it right. So, as I always say,
Now you know what you don't know.
plug the knowledge gap. Next one. All right, so this is about the terrorist attack in 2015 beside the synagogue in Copenhagen. In 2015, this was actually a current affairs question, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously it went into history, and this was written into the book. And it shows up here for the first, actually, technically the second time, but the first time as a history question. 28 people got this wrong. This is for the people that got this right. All right, it's a static top 5 apart from Biz going up onto the podium at number 3. 19 players reached an answer streak of 4.
Great job.
Next one. FAQ. All right, so 13 people got this wrong. NFS Grundtvig was a Danish priest, and he was also a philosopher of sorts. And he inspired the ideas of the Folkehøjskolerne, so the public school system in Denmark. And this is a frequently asked question. It shows up in many different forms, but this is I think top 20 FAQ. So for the 13 people that got this wrong, please plug that knowledge gap because you will see it again. All right. I know nothing is the highest climber, up 6 places.
Great job.
Next one. All right, so in Denmark, the majority of the folkeafstemninger, so that's the referendums that have been held in Denmark between 1953 and today, majority of them have been about Denmark's relationship with the EU. The most recent one was in 2022, and that was to scrap the reservations, the security reservations Denmark had. And this was because of the Ukraine war that started. Is it 2022 or is it 2020? Man, I can't remember. But anyways, please, like I said, I do make mistakes sometimes. So please check the book. But yes, most of the referendums have been about Denmark's relationship with the EU. On to the next one. All right, Biz is climbing. Great job, man.
Great job.
Now at number 2, 6 players just hit an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
On to the next one. All right, so the question is about the membership in Danish political parties since 1950. And since 1950, the membership has fallen. And the reason is, in Denmark, the political landscape is a bit different from, say, the UK or the US, where you have a 2-party system in the US, like the Republicans and the Democrats. And most people vote Republican or Democrats their whole lives the same. Whereas in Denmark, people might vote Venstre this election cycle and Social Democrat next election cycle, and what's the Liberal Alliance the next one. So they're more fluid when it comes to voting here in Denmark. And that's the reason why you don't see these high political party memberships in Denmark. All right, on to the next one. Right, okay, so someone is asking about the Kahoot sessions. Yes, we have Kahoot sessions every Wednesday and Sunday at the same time, 8 o'clock, okay? We have these sessions twice a week until the test. So please come. All right, Ran is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right, FAQ. All right, so 30 people got this wrong. So this explanation is for you. So the first Social Democratic Prime Minister in Denmark was Thorvald Stauning. He was elected in 1924. And that year, he appointed the first female minister, Nina Bang, and she was Undervisningsminister, I think education minister. The question about Nina Bang shows up. It's an FAQ. This is semi-frequently asked question, but you're going to run into this again. So for the 30 people that got this wrong,
Now you know what you don't know.
plug the knowledge gap. Okay, so Vibe has the highest answer streak of 16. That's a perfect score.
Perfect score.
And he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
On to the next one. All right, so around the First World War, Denmark was hit with an influenza epidemic called the Spanish flu. Denmark wasn't actually hit as hard as other countries, and this was because Denmark was neutral during the First World War, and they didn't send any soldiers out, so they were not bringing the sickness back with them. The reason why this was called the Spanish flu wasn't because it originated from Spain, but because it was first written about in a Spanish newspaper. All this information is in the book, so please read that book. It is important that you actually do it. I also will be releasing some reading plans on a 30-day reading plan, how to get through the book in 30 days. The goal is to get through it at least 3 times. Anyways, something just crossed my mind, but anyways, let's move on. All right, static top 5.
Static top 5.
This was a tough round. 4 players lost their answer streak of 6. Sorry, guys. Deepak, are you here? If you're here, just write in the chat. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Frequently asked question. Okay, so Henrik Pontoppidan wrote Leucopair. This is a frequently asked question. You will be seeing it again. Next one. All right, static top 5. Alexi is back in the game with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, this is also from this is chapter 6, not 5. So this is in the section where they talk about the Faroe Islands, its culture and its history. And part of Faroese culture is the flag. And the symbol in the Faroese flag is a blue and red cross, if I'm not mistaken. So please check that. There was a question. So this is a brand new question, never been asked before. There was another question. Actually, let me not, because I think I might be confused. But anyways, this is a brand new question, never been asked before, from chapter 6. So you also need to pay close attention to chapter 6. Moving on to the next one. All right, Suj is back into the top 5. This was a combo breaker. 3 players lost their answer streak of 3. We're getting closer to the halfway point. All right, so before the Reformation, power was with the church, the king, and the nobles. And the king didn't have that much power because he always had to, lobby the church or lobby the nobles in order to make any kind of decision. When the Reformation came, the king saw that as an opportunity to increase his power. So actually, there was a civil war in Denmark between the Catholics and the Protestants. The Protestants won. The king took over the church, took over all the land belonging to the church, and installed himself as the leader of the church. And the church is obviously Dansk Folkekirken. And it's been that way ever since. So actually, in connection with that, the king or the queen, so the current reigning monarch, is the only person that does not have religious freedom in Denmark. So the king or the queen, well, the king right now, always has to be Christian. All right, on to the next one. Biz is on fire, highest answer streak of 20. Perfect score.
Perfect score.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. Frequently asked question as well. All right, round of applause. Okay, for the 7 people that got this wrong, in Denmark, the labor market is organized a bit differently from countries like, say, the US or the UK, where minimum wage is actually written into law. In Denmark, there is no minimum wage, and the wages are decided by collective bargaining between the employer organizations and the fagforenings representing the employees. And this is a frequently asked question, so you will see this over and over again. It is a top 30 frequently asked question, so you're definitely going to run into this again. All right, we have a static top 5.
Static top 5.
Anton P is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We are almost at the halfway point. FAQ as well. All right, so 27 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question. In Denmark, you start being prosecuted as an adult if you commit a crime at the age of 15. So before that, you're not prosecuted as an adult. From 15 and upwards, you are prosecuted as an adult. That's what this question is about. This is a frequently asked question. You will definitely be seeing this again. All right, static top 5. Ran is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, so we are past the halfway point now. This is also frequently asked. All right, so between 1380 and 1814, Norway was in the Kalmar Union with Denmark. From 1380 to 1523, I think, it was Norway, Denmark, and Sweden that were in the Kalmar Union. And then there was some kind of issue where Denmark went and killed a bunch of people in Sweden. Sweden decided that they didn't want to be part of the union anymore, and they left. But Norway stayed until 1814. And also, if you ever go to the parliament, I'll try and organize a visit to parliament. You will see that on one of the symbols, there's 3 crowns. And those crowns represent the kingdom in Denmark, the kingdom in Sweden, and the kingdom in Norway. So the symbols of the Kalmar Union still exist till this day. All right, next one. 7 players have reached an answer streak of 9.
Excellent.
We are past the halfway point now. So if Train catches fire, he gets an explosion. So in 2003, the invasion of Iraq. So this was after 9/11. Denmark actually did send troops to Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's what this question is about. It's a simple yes or no. The people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
All right, Suj Fella BH is in. Just to reiterate, okay, if you're not doing well, do not feel bad, okay? These sessions are for you to figure out where you have weak spots. And once you figure out what those weak spots are, you go and fill in those spots. Come back the next time and repeatedly do this over and over again until you plug up all your knowledge gaps. And when you go to the test becomes easy, but you need to put in the work, okay? Thompson is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. This is a frequently asked question as well. The answer is yes. So Denmark, so the right for homosexuals to get married in Denmark was written into law 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Before that, they had the right to live together in a partnership. Can't remember the Danish word for that exactly. But yes, the answer is yes. For the 6 people who got this wrong, now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
This is a frequently asked question, so you're going to be running into this again. All right, static top 5.
Static top 5.
Freddie is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how you guys do on this. This is a new question. So this was a new question at the time. All right, so the EU country with the most immigrants into Denmark is Poland. How many people got this wrong? 24 people got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Remember what I said. The test is made up of FAQs, frequently asked questions, and new questions, okay? Usually the frequently asked questions are more than the new questions. And usually when the test is very difficult is when there are more new questions than frequently asked questions. In this year, so May 2023, that wasn't the case. Actually, yeah, kind of. There were more than ever, I think. No, actually, anyways, let me not get stuck in that loop. But the point is this: made up of FAQs and new questions. Okay, this was a new question at the time. This question is from, I think, chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, moving on. All right, yeah. Trayan number 1, Biz number 2, Diamond 3, Leo 4, D8 5. Roma Keeper has a streak with 26 correct answers in a row. Wow.
Wow!
Perfect score.
Perfect score.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Okay, so this is a question about the highest point over sea level in Denmark. That's 170 meters. In this case, it's asking about how high. In some other cases, it asks about where. This is a frequently asked question, so look out for the other case as well. All right, we have a static top 5. Alexi is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
We're almost getting to the current affairs. This is top 10 FAQ, so you must know the answer to this. Okay, so Denmark joined NATO in 1949, 4 years after it joined the United Nations. And United Nations was created right after World War II, 1945, and Denmark joined immediately. This is a question that you must know the answer to. Also, the year that Denmark joined the United Nations. So for the 27 people that got this wrong, please get it right the next time, because the likelihood of this question showing up in the next test is quite high. So you must know the answer to this. Moving on to the next one. We have a static top 5.
Static top 5.
Manny is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Great job!
Next one. Okay, so Volkstrompelbevægelsen, so that's the Red Stocking movement in the 1970s, was a movement for gender equality. This is a frequently asked question. You will definitely see this again. And when I say frequently asked question, what I mean is you must know the answer to this question without a doubt. Okay, there's about 200 of these questions. They're all in your profile to practice. Please practice them and get to know them, because you're probably going to see them again in the next test. All right, someone is asking for the Kahoot code. I will be posting it. All right, we're moving on. KKR is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We are almost at the end now, getting closer and closer to current affairs. Also FAQ. All right, so the question is, can the Prime Minister appoint a minister that is not a member of Parliament? And the answer is yes. Usually ministers are members of Parliament, but they don't have to be. And the most recent case was the government of, I think it was a Venstre government, and a guy called Tommy Allers, who was not a member of Parliament, was appointed as minister for, I don't know, finance or something, I can't remember exactly. And the only difference is, if you're a minister and you're not a member of Parliament, you cannot vote during the parliamentary sessions. So that's the only caveat there. Next one. Static top 5. Andrea is the highest climber, up 9 places.
Great job.
Okay, so we have 15 questions to go. So 5 more history questions. Brand new question from chapter 5. All right, so they were authors. Yeah, like I said, pay very close attention to chapter 5 because a lot of new questions come from there. So in November 2023, which is the most recent test, actually we did that Kahoot on Wednesday. There was a question about Emma Gadd, and that was also from chapter 5, and it was new information that was added to the book. So pay attention to the new information that was added, and also pay very close attention to chapter 5 because a lot of new questions come from there. So far, I can count like 3 in this session alone. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, so Dano Nino is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
Next one. All right, so the life expectancy in Denmark has been growing since the 1980s, and that's actually causing problems here in terms of welfare. I'm not going to go into all those details, but in general, it's been growing. Moving on to the next one. All right, so Leo came through at the last moment, now on the podium at number 3. Diamond fell to number 4. Juno is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Great job.
Got 3 questions in the history section, and then we move on to current affairs. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Brand new question as well. Wait. Oh yeah, this is from the book. And yeah, so Venstre has majority of the borgmester posts in Denmark. There's really not much to say here in terms of explanation. It's just a fact. This is from the book. It's written in the book. So yeah, but this was a brand new question that had never been asked before. 40 people exactly got this wrong. So now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Plug that knowledge gap. Moving on to the next one. We have a static top 5.
Static top 5.
4 players reached an answer streak of 28. Wow.
Wow!
Excellent.
Excellent.
Next one. FAQ. All right, so most of you know this. Round of applause. All right, so the question is about if all taxpayers pay the church tax, and the answer is no. You have to be a member of the church to pay the church tax. Next one. All right, so Tran is number 1. Tran has a perfect score. We are past the halfway point. So as a result, Tran gets an explosion. like I said, Trajan has already taken the test, and he took it in November 2023. Trajan scored 45 out of 45 questions correctly. That's 100%. Trajan was also our #1 player. So on the leaderboard, he was #1 here for months. And that's because he put in the work, okay? And basically, Trajan is the model. So model this guy, because he has the source for that success that everyone here is looking for. He has written a post about how he did it, and I will be sharing that post in the group. All right. And if I haven't done it by tomorrow, please someone remind me. All right, next one. So this is the last history question. This is also a frequently asked question, top 10 frequently asked question. All right, so the police can hold you for up to 24 hours before they put you in front of a judge. 18 people got this wrong. Please, you need to know the answer to this. So now you know what you don't know.
Now you know what you don't know.
Let's have a look at that top 5 just before we go into current affairs. Okay, so Thompson is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We've got 10 questions to go. We're about to go into current affairs. Now, this is current affairs from May 2023. So from December 2022 up until May 2023. Obviously, this is no longer current affairs. What's important here is the theme of the question, okay? Now, I don't expect you to know the answers to these questions. If you do know the answers, it's a bonus, but what's important is the theme. And as we get to the questions, I will be discussing that theme. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, so the theme of this question is political parties and their leaders, okay? And they always ask about, who's the leader of this political party or that political party. And obviously the political parties that are relevant are the political parties that are currently in parliament. In this case, they were asking about the leader of the Socialist People's Party. In November 2023, they were asking about the leader of Venstre after Jacob Ellemann-Jensen quit. Now, on your profile, I will be putting up, I haven't put it up yet. I actually removed it, but there is going to be a current affairs section, and you're going to see a quiz that says Denmark political parties and their leaders. It has all of them in there. Okay, another theme that we might run into is the Danish government, the current Danish government. So look out for that on your profile. Okay, so to reiterate, the theme here is Denmark political parties and their leaders. Next one. All right, so we have a static top 5. Sarita is back with an answer streak of 3.
She's on fire!
Excellent.
Moving on to the next one. All right, so the theme of this is internal state affairs. So in 2023, there was a piece of legislation that was passed to scrap the Store Bill Day holiday. Just as another example, under internal state affairs in November 2023, there was a piece of legislation that was passed banning people from burning the holy books. So the Torah, the Quran, and the Bible, and that's now punishable by imprisonment. So look out for any new laws that are being passed, any new major laws that affect basically the whole country. Anyways, so that's the theme for this one. Oh, and by the way, I will be collecting current affairs and creating questions out of them and putting them on your profile so that you can practice with them. And they will be according to these themes I'm discussing. However, that shouldn't stop you from keeping an eye out in the news, because I don't always catch them. In the May 2023 exam, I actually caught all of them. I caught all 5 of them. In November 2023, I caught 4. I missed 1. So I say that to say this: keep an eye out in the news, because I might not catch them all. JEO is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Someone is asking, can we only have 1 mistake from current affairs in the exam, or how is it? No. So where you can only have 1 mistake is Danish values, okay? So you can get 100% in the history part and current affairs, but if you fail 2 Danish values questions, you fail the whole test. So please keep an eye out. I will be discussing the Danish values. Anyways, we're moving on to the next one. All right, so the theme for this is Danish excellence on the world stage, whether it's in sports, culture, music, whatever, right? In this case, it is the male handball team won the World Cup in 2020, in January 2023. Also, when, what's his name? Vingegaard won the Tour de France, he showed up in the test. And it all follows this theme. So keep an eye out for Danish sports people, Danish movies, Danish music, making a huge splash on the world stage. Okay? All right, moving on to the next one. We have a static top 5.
Static top 5.
All right, so far we've run into political parties and the leaders, Danish excellence on the world stage, internal state affairs. We have 2 more to go. All right, actually, a lot of people got this wrong. So this is actually a good time to talk about this. So what is the theme for this? The theme for this is famous dead people. In this case, it's the lady that wrote, I think she wrote the script for Matador. Matador is one of the most famous Danish TV series, and made a huge cultural impact in Denmark. And she died in January 2023 at the age of 105. And her name is Lisa Norgård. Famous dead people. Now, something happened yesterday. Søren Pape Poulsen, So the former leader of the Conservative People's Party died because I think he had some complication from a blood clot in his brain or something. Now, that is a very strong candidate for showing up in this theme. I have a very strong feeling that it will show up because it's major. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, that was a combo breaker. 8 players just dropped the answer streak of 7. Sorry, guys. All right, someone says there's a new Matador film in cinema these days. So also that is relevant. Please send me the news article for that or post it in the group. All right, we're moving on to the last question. Saeed, don't worry about it, it'll show up. All right, so this is Danish excellence on the world stage again. In this case, it's winning the Nobel Prize for Nobel Prize in chemistry. What's his name again? Morten Meldal. And so this theme showed up twice in this test. And like I said, we actually caught all of these. And so basically, if you were coming to all the sessions, you would have seen basically all the current affairs questions. Hopefully that's the case this season. Let's see, I don't know, but I'm doing my best for this, okay? All right, we're moving to Danish values now. All right, AG is back in the game. Last 5 questions. So the question is, can a Danish citizen be basically prosecuted in a Danish court if the person is involved in menneskehandel, so that human trafficking, and human trafficking abroad, in some foreign land? And the answer is yes, obviously. The theme here, okay, so for Danish values, okay, they also have themes. The theme here is crimes against the state. So the trick is this, okay? When you read the question, I think the mistake a lot of people make is that they read the question and they're trying to be precise about what the question is asking. But what you need to understand is, okay, what is this question about? What is the context of this question? The context of this question is crimes against the state, okay? And once you understand that, then it will now guide you to the answer. So if you commit crimes against the Danish state, you will be punished, okay? Go and look through all the previous tests with Danish values with that lens. So when you see a question, try and ask yourself, what is this question about? What's the context of this question? Once you understand that, you're closer. So you're like 98% closer to the correct answer. All right. Next one. All right, so same thing, okay? What is this question about? I'm going to have a session focused on Danish values, where I'll show you the question, and then you have to figure out what the question is about. When we do the session, you understand what I'm talking about. This question is about freedom, so freedom to choose who you can be in a relationship with. And in Denmark, freedom, so individual freedoms are, highly respected in Denmark. And this question emphasizes that. So once you understand the context and the theme of the question, then it guides you to the answer. And obviously you need to sometimes, it's asked in the other way around in this case. So pay attention, to the question, try and figure out what the theme of the question is, and then go ahead and give your answer. And as you can see, these questions are actually not difficult. They're not difficult at all. I understand that, when you go to the test, you might feel under a lot of pressure, but try and calm down, breathe, read the question very slowly, try and figure out what the context of the question is, and then give the answer. All right, so we've seen two themes, freedom and crimes against the state. We have three more. Many, have some patience, okay? We'll get to it. All right, so like I said before, right? It's really not about the specific question, it's about the theme of the question. And here, the theme is actually in the question. The theme is gender equality. Now, there are other questions about gender equality that are not exactly this. And I will be showing you, okay? I've also made a video about this. Go to the YouTube channel and have a look. I'll also be putting that video on your profile so you can have a look there as well so you don't miss it. All right, we're moving on to the last two. It's still a static top 5. 3 players have reached an answer streak of 12.
Excellent.
Next one. The full question is going to show up. Oh, shucks. Sorry. So this question is about, is Denmark part of the 10 countries in the world that has the lowest corruption or something? I can't remember. Yes, and the answer is yes in that case. So in this case, the theme is low corruption. And there was a question like this in the previous one as well. Like I said, we will have a session focusing on these questions, okay? So you can actually kind of decode the thinking behind the question. It really isn't about the question itself, but the theme behind the question. Because if you start trying to predict the next Danish values question, you get stuck. The best way to, and obviously they don't provide any learning material for these questions. The best way to make sure you actually get the questions right is to understand the thinking behind the question. So the actual Danish values. All right, next one, last one. Static top 5, 6 players hit an answer streak of 11. Someone said in the last exam, the last question. Yeah. Saeed, you have to be patient, okay? We'll get to it. I know you guys are anxious and everything. Sucks, man. Wait, what was this question? All right, so this question was about can an imam or a priest be locked up in prison if he incites violence against, I can't remember, if he incites violence against the state or something along those lines. The question was too long to fit in here. And the theme here also is, terrorism, which is violence against the state, right? The theme also here is violence against the state. So if you commit a crime against the Danish state, you will be punished, okay? Anyways, I hope that made sense. If it didn't, come to the session on Danish values, where we will be talking about this. Yeah, let's have a look at that podium. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I will make sure the full question is there next time. All right, so we have Leo, Biz, and Trayan. All right, Diamond at 4 and DH at 5. Let's see how everyone...
NearlyDanish.com.